Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to look at one of the most perfectly engineered biological machines on our entire planet, the flowering plant. Now, if you dive into the fundamental science outlined in the NCERT curriculum, you quickly start to realize that what looks like just a simple green stalk sitting in the dirt is actually a highly complex, beautifully organized system. We're going to take a bottom-up tour of this incredible organism, unpacking exactly how each piece plays an absolutely vital role in its survival. So I really want you to think about this question for a second. What is actually happening inside a plant? When you walk through a park or you just glance at that potted plant sitting on your windowsill, it's so easy to see them as static, quiet little objects. But honestly, that is a complete illusion. Behind that quiet exterior, a plant is a dynamic, active factory that's literally working around the clock. While they look completely still, a single mature tree might be silently pumping hundreds of gallons of water straight up into the sky every single day. It's manufacturing chemical energy and building these complex structures at an astonishing rate. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for this tour. First, we'll hit the roots, which are the foundation. Then we'll move up to the stems, acting as the highway. After that, we'll explore the leaves, the powerhouse of the operation. Then it's on to the flowers, which are basically nature's billboards. And we'll wrap up with fruits and seeds, which represent the future. Starting off with Section 1, Roots, the hidden foundation. Because they're buried deep down in the dirt, roots often get totally overlooked. But without them, absolutely nothing above ground is even possible. You can kind of think of them as a combination of a heavy-duty construction crew and a deep earth mining operation. First off, they anchor the plant against immense wind loads. Imagine engineering a towering skyscraper that relies entirely on this flexible subterranean net to stay upright. It's wild. At the exact same time, they're actively mining the soil to absorb the essential water and vital minerals that the plant needs for its chemical processes. And, on top of all that, they act like a hidden subterranean pantry, storing reserve food for the plant to use during tough times, like winter or a severe drought. Moving above ground to Section 2, Stems, the transport highway. As we transition above ground, notice the dynamic balance at play here. The roots engage in this massive downward pull, anchoring into the dirt and absorbing resources from below. Now contrast that with the stems, which are all about upward delivery and structural support. They're constantly pushing up against gravity, reaching for the sky while acting as the absolutely crucial logistical middleman between the dark underground and the bright world up above. The stem is honestly performing incredible structural and logistical feats all at the same time. Structurally, it holds the leaves and flowers upright, making sure they're perfectly positioned to catch sunlight and attract insects. But logistically, it's a massive two-way transit highway. Through these microscopic tubes, the stem transports the water and minerals pulled by the roots continuously upward. And at the exact same time, using a completely different set of microscopic tubes, it distributes the food manufactured up in the canopy downward to feed the lower parts of the plant. It's a perfectly synchronized supply chain, fighting gravity without a single moving mechanical part. No way we humans could build something that efficient. Up next is Section 3, Leaves, the solar powerhouse. Right up at the canopy, we find the magic of biological manufacturing, photosynthesis. Now, we all learned the basics of this process back in grade school, but as adults, it's really worth pausing to appreciate the sheer scale of this biological engineering. Leaves are essentially vast arrays of highly advanced, self-assembling solar panels that capture ambient light and, through a deeply complex chemical reaction with water and carbon dioxide, transform it into literal edible energy to power the entire system. Let's break down exactly how this powerhouse operates on the factory floor. Step 1. The leaves capture radiant energy straight from sunlight. Step 2. They take in carbon dioxide from the surrounding air and mix it with the water delivered by our stem highway. Step 3. They use that solar energy to chemically bake those ingredients together, producing sugars to feed the plant. And this is the best part. As a miraculous byproduct of this hyper-efficient manufacturing process, they release pure, fresh oxygen back into the atmosphere. The very oxygen you and I are breathing right now is the exhaust from this exact biological factory. Talk about a win-win, right? Which brings us to Section 4, Flowers, Nature's Billboards. Once the plant has secured enough energy and built a strong structure, it shifts its entire focus to the next generation. And what's really interesting here is how absolutely every gorgeous detail of a flower is a highly engineered tool with a very specific practical purpose. Petals aren't just there to look pretty. Their bright colors and sweet scents are literally targeted advertising campaigns designed specifically to attract pollinators like bees, butterflies, and birds. Inside the flower, we find the reproductive engines. The stamens are the male parts, creating this dust-like pollen. And sitting right in the center is the pistil, the female part, safely housing the ovary at its base. The whole shebang is precision-built to ensure pollen from a stamen finds its way to a pistil. And finally, Section 5, Fruits and Seeds, the future. Everything the plant has done up to this point has been leading to this final stage, securing the future. Let's trace this biological timeline together. In phase 1, the bloom happens. The flower opens its billboard to attract pollinators. In phase 2, pollination occurs. A bee lands, grabs some nectar, and accidentally transfers pollen. Once its job is done, the flashy, energy-intensive petals just drop off. Then we enter phase 3, fruit development. The ovary at the base of the flower literally swells up, growing into a fruit that houses and protects the developing seeds. Finally, we hit phase 4, seed dispersal. The fruit drops, maybe decays, or is eaten by an animal, allowing the seeds inside to scatter across the earth, ready to start the magnificent cycle all over again. So the crucial point to take away from all this is the fruit we eat, the apples, the oranges, the tomatoes, they act as a biological protective shield. But the true treasure is the seed inside. That tiny, sometimes microscopic seed holds the complete genetic blueprint for the next generation. All of the anchoring of the roots, the heavy lifting of the stem highway, the relentless solar manufacturing of the leaves, and the flashy advertising of the flower, all of that massive, coordinated energy was spent just to create this tiny vessel of future life. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final thought. Are you ready to look outside and see these simple plants around you as the complex, life-sustaining factories they truly are? The next time you walk past a garden or a tree, remember the invisible wonders happening right in front of you. You aren't just looking at greenery. You are looking at nature's ultimate perfected machinery hard at work. Thank you so much for diving into this with me. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.